Alright, hello everyone. My name is DJ Ninja, and welcome back to the sort of like halfway recap of the season for Lads Season 3 of the Draft League. If you're wondering where the Week 3 and 4 battles are, basically, due to scheduling issues, they're both very delayed in when the battle took place, essentially going one right after another. So I did Battle Week 3 and Week 4 until a couple days ago. So I'm just getting around to them now. They are going to be included in this battle for the VOD review, so stick around. I have them both booted up, as you can see. And so we're just going to get right into it. So first thing we're doing, we're reviewing all team changes to each team before from week 1 start to now. We're just going to talk about if I think they're good, if I think the teams, and then we're also going to go over how the standings are right now. Talk about any surprises that I see, and I'll give you guys a little run on there, and then we'll get into the VOD review. So, first things first, let's look at the first team that had changes, which is Hagrid's. So Hagrid had one change on their team, which was they swapped Corp Knight for Gliscor. I believe I actually talked about them planning to do this in the start of the season video. As I said, I think this was the correct move. I still just think the issue is like with the Sand team, you don't really have a Sand abuser. Golden Go and Gliscor make for a good like hazard removal denial, and then a powerful hazards mon with Gliscor and Kamibu and Stolly. But I think the parts around them really aren't good for abusing that. Really need a Sand abuser like a Lycanroc Midday or an Excadrill, which they do not have, obviously, and probably won't. And so I think the team will struggle. Just looking at the graph, so many weaknesses. It is tough. But that's really all the changes they had was just that one. Moving on to Bacon. Bacon swapped Roserade for Lapras, as well as Gliscopod for Skuntank, and then swapped their Terra Captain from Lycanroc to Lapras. Actually, I need to fix that. But yeah, so Terra Flagon and Lapras, Terra Captains. I like these changes. I think that it's smart for them to, when they got rid of Roserade, to at least keep a grounded poison with getting Golisopod. The team still has some very strong offense. I think Lapras is a good Terramon, and you do have some very nice Pokemon. I think the issue does come from the fact that how the team does have that only Lapras is their only water immunity, so against strong water types, they kind of have to bring Lapras. The team does still have a very, very massive weakness to ground. In fact, I think this actually accentuated a little bit because they lose Golisopod, which resisted ground, and they essentially gain a +2 on their weaknesses because Roserade was neutral, Golisopod resisted, so they replaced a resist and a neutrality for a resist, or a neutrality and a weakness, which I think is not good. So that means you have like Flygon and Pidgeot will be able to deal just fine. And thus I think that does put them in a bit of a bad spot, but I think as long as you bring those Pokemon, nothing too bad. So I think the team is improved by this. I think hazards-wise, I think it stays about the same. If anything, it loses a Spiker, but I don't think that's much. Oh wait, they had Garbodor. What am I saying about like grounded poison? They honestly could have gotten not Skuntank and kept Garbodor. Frankly, I'd like to see a Rapid Spinner out of Bacon. That's what this team feels like it's lacking, if anything. Like, it doesn't have any Pokemon like Rapid Spin, so you're stuck relying on Defog, which, while does clear your hazards, also clears them clears the hazards on your side, clears the hazards on the enemy side. So if you're trying to run a very hazard-heavy comp, it's really not good for keeping your set alive. Now, moving on from Bacon, we move on to... We're actually going to go up to Austin. Austin actually just did these changes today, so we are yet to see them play into battle. So we had 3 changes from Austin. We had Ursaluna for Galarian Zapdos, Regigigas for Lurantis, and Bellossom for Glalie. So, let's talk about first thing first. A bit of a speed improvement. You have 100 speed Galarian Zapdos instead of, like, I believe it's 40 speed for Ursaluna Blood Moon. I don't necessarily think this is a good change, though. So I think first things first. Just looking at that type chart, we've got a big rock weakness, and I think the reason for that is that we just got rid of a rock resisting Pokemon for a rock weak Pokemon, essentially. Not too big of an issue, I think. I mean, no, it isn't, because they have 3 Defog only has removal, and none of those Pokemon you really want to be bringing Defog on, so that means your team is not going to have a fun time if the opponent has good Stealth Rock setters. Flying weakness isn't too big of an issue, especially with Jolteon and Metagross, which both do definitely take flying hits pretty well. Jolteon especially can usually survive a Hurricane or 2 from a pretty strong special attacker, actually. Remarkably, though, with Dragonite being your hyper offense Mons, having a lot of Ice Weaks or Ice Resist is pretty good. A little bit heavy on fire weaknesses, but with Typhlosion, that's really not a problem in my eyes. I don't like that lack of hazards. I think Glalie having spikes helps a little bit, but I think it's going to be hard to bring Glalie. I think Glalie, especially in draft one, I believe Moody has been... Oop, I guess it's a spoiler. Is Moody banned? Moody is not banned. Hello? Is that correct? No Moody ban? Oh. Oh. Wait a minute. Looks like Moody is not banned, in which case, never mind. I think this is actually a really good move from Austin. Never mind. I was just saying, I'm not a big fan of Glalie, but if Moody's not banned, that gives you the opportunity to be really fucking annoying, so... Good luck whoever faces Austin in the next few weeks. Lurantis, I think, is definitely a step up with Regigigas. I feel like Regigigas isn't ever really going to be providing anything, and losing Bill Awesome is not a big loss. That's it for Austin's team. Overall, I'm just kind of neutral on the changes. I don't think they're... I think if Moody is allowed, I think Glalie is a really big pickup. If not, I think it's actually a downgrade. And I think these changes then are overall a ground downgrade. I don't feel confident in what Galarian Zapdos is trying to do. I guess they want a different tier 1. I feel like it's not going to help them with anything. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. I feel like this team does need like a dark type. It's just need a psychic weakness. Like a dark type would not hurt this team. Yeah, I don't know. It's decently fast. Like, I mean, not really. It's got like 3 fast Pokemon. The team has issues for sure still, and I think it's I guess a little bit spoiler, but I think Austin's 2-2. We'll go in more detail for this later. But anyways, off of Austin, that's still Austin. I'm not super on these changes. Moving on to Ben. Ben had my lowest rated team at the start of the season, and Ben has certainly made a few changes. So, Ben has 3 changes. Hisuian Typhlosion replaced with Honchkrow. Ludicolo was replaced with Carbink, and Dedenne was replaced with Galarian Stunfisk. So I'm glad to see one of the fire types gone. I still think you should probably use either Volkers or Skeldurge, and I'm glad he at least picked up a ground immunity. We picked up 2 more ground weak Pokemon, and we lost our resist. The other now big glaring issue for Ben is you have 5 water weak Pokemon, and you have 1 water resist, and it is Wugtrio. Wugtrio is not surviving those hits, and that's really, really not good for you. I mean, I think... Does Ben have any more free agents? He has 2. I would pick up a water-resisting Pokemon, Ben. I feel like... Is there Lumineon? Or Parasect, even? Actually, Parasect would be weirdly good for this team. Wait. That feels weird to say, because it gives a 4 times ground resist and a water immunity. It's another rock weak Pokemon, but like, Either way, there's also no real Rapid Spinner, which does hurt, especially when you have a web setter. You definitely don't want to be using Defog when you have sticky webs. It's just, sticky webs is, the best. The best hazard, losing it and having to set it back up again can really fucking hurt. Especially if you don't have the bulkies of web setter, which Slurpuff is definitely not. Does have Wish though. Oh, sorry, it's late. But yeah, overall, I think I'm iffy on these changes. I think Honchkrow is definitely a really nice pickup. I'm not so sold on Carbink and Stunfisk though. Stunfisk I feel like is really not good. I feel like they're gonna at least provide some utility with Nuzzle. Nuzzle Super Fang U-turn. We'll see though. I don't think Ben's brought it yet, so it's kind of up in the air. Anyways, there's only one more change on this sheet, so we'll just finish. Oh, never mind, it's not on the sheets. Okay, we're down over here. Ignore my team. We're going to move on to Jacques. Jacques is really quick, and it's quite simple. Jacques has just swapped their Terra Captain from Vikavolt to Togekiss. I'm not too sold on this one either. I thought Vikavolt had the opportunity to be a really good Terra Captain, especially with being able to abuse its different coverage and stuff like that. Especially how it gets Terra Grass Energy Ball, Terra Bug Buzz could also just really fucking hurt. Terra Electric to get no immunities, and then also just hit really hard with your Electric type moves. I thought that was a good move. I don't know if Togekiss will be the best abuser of Terra. It can obviously defensively Terra, but then you lose your Fairy type of your Fairy Steel Dragon Core, which nothing wrong with losing, but I feel like Togekiss really likes that typing. I don't know what types. I think this is a recent change. I don't know what types Jacques has been using for their Terras. Either way, though, I feel like I'm not too sold on this move. It's basically what I'm trying to get at. Yeah, it's not exactly I'm not a big fan of it. So lastly, we move on to Maggie for changes. And Maggie had two more. Maggie was the last of her free agents, and she picked up two new Pokemon. She swapped out Brambleghast for Hisuian Typhlosion, and she swapped out Walrein for Gliscopod. Gliscopod she has absolutely been using, and she actually brought it in battle against me, as you saw in the VOD review. I like both these changes. I'm less sold on the Typhlosion than the Gliscopod. I'm really sold on Gliscopod. I think Gliscopod was a wonderful pickup, especially after Bacon put it on. Basically, Bacon gave it up. Which I think she was right for stealing that as soon as she could. The Typhlosion pickup. I'm actually... So, Hisuian Typhlosion is tier 3 and regular Typhlosion is tier 4. I actually think regular Typhlosion is better than Hisuian. This might sound weird, but I just think it has a better, more utility ability. Stab, Eruption. It's a little bit less weaker, but it's faster, which definitely lets it get off better, stronger Stab Eruptions. Yeah, Flash Fire is way better than Frisk as an ability. So I feel like you actually might want Blaze more. I feel like Frisk does have a little bit of utility. It's nice to have the coverage, because I think it's Infernal. I think it's an Infernal Parade, which is its signature move, which I think is a Ghost type move, which is definitely good. I don't know. I'm not sold on this move, but I think, especially because it does mean you lost your Rapid Spinner. I feel like, though, I can kind of see the appeal of it with when you had double ups with Shiftry and Brambleghast having very similar roles. It might not hurt to necessarily lose it. We'll see. I don't think she's brought Hisuian Typhlosion yet, so I'll see how much use she gets out of it. I'm very sold on Gliscopod. I think Gliscopod was an amazing pickup. Gave her more utility. First impression and emergency exit are really nice for getting the Gandel onto the field safely, at least once a battle, for free almost. Yeah, no. Very, 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 very good. Alright, anyways, now with those out of the way, we're going to move on to standings review. Bradzi is 4-0, with including a win over me and Lex, who's in second place, followed by Violet and Guy in third and fourth. I'm going to talk more about the elephants in the room, which in my eyes are mine and Nate's scorings at 14th and 15th, respectively. This has absolutely been a really struggling season for me. I could probably for Nate as well, and I think these are the two most surprising placements right now. I feel like a lot of the people who are doing very well are expected to do well. I think the other big one is Jacques in 18th at 0-4 was really shocking. Although, to be fair, I think Jacques has had an absolute bitch of a schedule. Killer, Zach, myself, and Nate is definitely some tough opponents. As you can see, Joseph and Benito are yet to play. I have a feeling that Nate and I will probably end up above the winner or above the loser of that match, and so I will probably be ending the week 4 period in 14th in the 14th place. Not where I wanted to be at all. If anything, I'd love to be in that top 4, and I'm probably going to have to most certainly fight for my place in playoffs. I believe I have to win. Oh, that's great. There's an OU match tournament starting. I believe I have to win at least 2 battles of my schedule, and I absolutely have a bitch of a schedule with Lex, Nate, Zach, and Killer. Those are absolutely 4 tough opponents. I'm gonna have to absolutely lock the fuck in. If not, this is a valuable lesson for me, and I need to just figure out what went wrong. And I think part of it has just been a little bit of a mix of overconfidence and just be kind of playing very. I have not been playing well. My opponents have been playing very well. I've definitely gotten a bit overconfident in how I was playing, and so yeah, no, it's on me. I'm not gonna act like it's on anyone else. I've definitely been playing really, really bad. I gotta work harder for it. So now then, on to we'll see how the next few weeks go. I'll be putting out VOD reviews with each week from now on. Again, I'm going to go back into that. I've been with how the matches were scheduled. I actually played Brad for week 4 on. So I'm filming this on Sunday night. It's the 3rd of June. Happy Pride Month, everyone. I played Brad on Wednesday, and then I played Leah on Thursday. Or wait, no, sorry. I played Brad on Tuesday. I played Leah on Wednesday, back to back, and it was really. Both were definitely painful losses. So I guess a bit of a spoil for the matches ahead. They are both losses of mine, so this is also a little bit of a review of what went wrong for me. And you'll be able to see I absolutely was just getting very, very overconfident in my while playing. And so we're going to go through the teams that we brought. So I'm going to start with the Leah match. So. Actually, first we're going to drink, and then we'll get back to that. All right, so first we're going over the team that I have built for Leah. To start off, we have our usual 4 Suncore. We have Wake. Or actually, that's not true. That's for this week. I forgot. So for this week, we brought Torkoal, Melvin, Wake, Togetic, Durant, and Magneton. You might be noticing no Venusaur. I just didn't find a good spot for Venusaur. I was like, oh, there's no way Froliger is being brought into this team. Let's talk about what we got. So Durant is being brought. So obviously the 3 core are usually there for usual. We have a strong physical attacker, strong special attacker, a lot of utility with Torkoal, and obviously our Sunsetter. Togetic was being brought to counter both Garchomp and Darkrai. And then Durant also is a strong counter into both Reuniclus and into Darkrai with first impression always one-shotting. Magneton is being brought as a reliable check to a bunch of Pokemon. Crobat, mainly Bastiodon as well. I actually brought Crobat, Bastiodon, Feraligatr. If any of them show up, it can take care of them for sure. Terra Water as well, just because of that typing. And yeah, no, we brought an analytic over Magnet Pull just because there's only that one Steel type. Thunderbolt, Terra Blast, Full Twitch, Single Beam, our usual set, our reliable set, and most max HP, and then attack. All right, so let's look at the battle. This is the team that Leah brought. Leah brought Reuniclus, Feraligatr, Dusknoir, Garchomp, Darkrai, and Crobat. About what I was expecting, I was actually surprised to see Feraligatr here. Alright, and so we look at their Terra types. We have Psychic and Stellar compared to the Water for Magneton. So I was a little bit surprised by the Stellar, but the more I think I was like, okay, that makes sense if she is Terra Blast, because then, Feraligatr Terra Blast becomes, it doesn't lower its, actually does it? I don't know. But it would definitely counter my Pokemon Terra Blast, Terrestrializing. So I start with Thruple. She goes Reuniclus, and I'm like, okay, I'll just go for Signal Beam. Like, we brought Signal Beam for a reason, and they go Trick Room. They were Swift Recover, which I don't mind because it's like now analytics don't kick in, get a bit more damage, and they actually do swap. I see they swap into Dust More, I keep going Single Beam, and I see, this is the first surprise, I see Focus Punch. I'm like, okay, I got a shot on this Volt Switch. I Focus Punch, I Volt Switch, I'm like, okay, that's odd. Very odd. And, but either way, doesn't matter, I get a free switch, essentially, because they lose their focus because of the Volt Switch. Torkoal comes in, and I'm like, you know what, this is a good time, let's set up. We get actually a burn, we get Sun, and I see that, so I see this Ridiculous as Regenerator from both the swap, and then also I see Psychic Terrain on the, and I'm very confused as this Ridiculous is set. So we have Trick Room, Recover, Psychic Terrain, it's Regenerator, not Magic Guard. We do a good bit to it, but Torkoal can't stay in. We get the burn, we swap back to Magneton on a Recover. Not a problem. I see him faster, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go for Thunderbolt, get more damage than a Signal Beam would. And they go Expanding Force. And I'm just like, what the fuck? So I'm like, okay, let's go another Signal Beam. Barely doesn't kill. They go for Recover. This is a little frustrating. So I Volt Switch. We Volt Switch to Durant. And they go for Trick Room. I'm like, okay, not a problem, because we're going First Impression. I'm like, we either do a lot of damage or we kill something, and they kill. And here's where I make the first mistake. They send in Dust Noir. I should realize why is Dust Noir in here, as they go for Fire Punch. Durant's dead. And I'm kicking myself. I Saki Durant. Actually, whereas Torkoal was a free switch, especially when I go Will-O-Wisp on the Focus Punch. And now look, that is how much that is doing. I go for an Overheat to do some damage. And then they go for Ice Punch. I guess expecting a swap. Doesn't really hurt, though. So they go for that. I go for another one. As they Focus Punch, I just keep doing Overheats. And now they are dead, so I'm like, let's swap. They go for Ice Punch, which does actually do a little. It's not much. It's about 20%. And they die to Torkoal. Water Gun comes in. I'm like, okay, this is Ice Punch. It does. I'm like, okay, let's Thunderwave. Let's get the status. I'm like, okay, we got a pretty safe sway up here to Wake. And they go Ice Punch. I'm like, okay, I'm looking at my calculator. Anything I do, something's going to die here. However, this is actually where I fuck up. They Stellar Terra, I Draco. It doesn't kill. I'm really confused. And that's because I later learned that this thing was Assault Vest, which, lo and behold, would just have survived. And there's Wake. Wake's dead. That really sucks. Especially when I could have just gone to Magneton for free and gotten the kill. I go into Torkoal for some reason against Scarchomp, even though Togetic's moveset completely invalidates it. And then they get Ordnance Boost, which is really not good. So I swap to Togetic on an Outrage, which I thought would cancel the Outrage. It doesn't, for some reason, I've now learned. It has to be on turn 2, and then it will cancel the Outrage. So maybe I should have swapped to Magneton and then to Togetic. They're not confused, and they just go for a Fire Fang, which just really sucks. As I'm like, okay, Melvin's got this. I see an Ice Spinner will kill. I don't expect Outrage to do that much, especially because I'm max HP. Ice Spinner does kill, but I die to the Rough Skin Rocky Helmet combo. And I'm seeing this. I'm in a position. I'm like, okay, let's go Magneton. I'm not expecting to see special Crobat, and I think if I Terra Water here, I live and I get the kill with Thunderbolt. Well, actually, no, I learned it's Stoic Sash. And then they start going Air Slash. They're just full special. I go Overheat. It doesn't. I do see it does just under. It does 2/3, but then it doesn't even kill on the second one. They live at 1 HP, and I lose with 1% on Crobat and full HP on Darkrai. Very frustrating because this was my second loss back to back, and we've certainly been hitting the drawing board scheduling for our next week. Very unhappy with that loss. Moving on, we're going to move on to Bradzi. Just give me 1 second. All right. And so this is our team with Bradzi. So once again, we have a very standard array of our team. We've got our core 4 plus Liepard to deal with if any of the Pokemon start getting set up with Yawn, mainly Mega Lopunny, and then Togetic, Wall, Salamence. Let's go into the team. So immediately I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm expecting to see Mega Lop. I was expecting to see Salamence. I'm like, no Magearna. Okay, that's kind of nice to not see. Oh, I guess I suppose I go with some of the sets more. Pretty standard. We have Terra Fire to better abuse Sun, Growth, Sleep Powder, Giga Drain, Terra Blast. Terra Fire was also to deal with what's it called, Magearna, and Fortress, and Decidueye. Yeah, pretty standard for what I'm bringing. We have our standard. We have bulky Melvin again. We have Flamethrower, Body Press, Yawn, Protect. Ice Spinner, Rapid Spin, Earthquake, Stealth Rocks, Sleep Arc, Black. We have Thunderwave, Baton Blast, Morning Sun, and Seismic Toss, and then Yawn, Fake Out, Knock Off, Taunt. So let's go through the battle. I decide to lead on Lipard, and they go Electrode. I'm like, okay, let's go Fake Out, free chip. And I got the flinch. I'm like, oh, that's nice. So let's go. They go Reflect. I'm like, oh, okay, this thing's taking screen, especially because I see the Light Clay. I'm like, you know what? They're going to go Light Screen. So I taunt. And lo and behold, I get to Predict. I'm like, okay, they're going to swap. I'm like, okay, we're going to Yawn on the switch. And probably a pretty good thing because they go Lopunny. And I'm like, oh, that's really good. They have to force switch out. As I go, as Torkoal goes in, they Mega, and they U-turn. Like, okay, yes, they have U-turn. Makes sense. Mence comes in. And I'm like, ooh, that's dangerous. Especially as a Tailwind, I'm like, you know what? Let's Yawn again. We get double Yawn. Forcing a swap out. I'm like, okay, this is good. And then we go Lipard. I'm like, okay, hey, it's this thing. And if Fake Outs, I'm like, okay, that's not good. So we'll go to make sure I'm predicting U-turn as a kill. I'm right, so we get a little bit of chip on them, which is really nice. As they go Fortress, I'm like, okay, this is going to start setting up. So I go Stealth Rocks, I'll get my own rocks up, and they go Toxic. I'm like, yep, okay, that's annoying. Immediately I swap to Weed Frog. I'm like, you know what? I can set up on this thing. If it tries to set up another Toxic, whenever it swaps in, I get it free in. I'm like, okay, let's go Growth. And so we get free Growth, which is really nice. Here's where I mess up. So as I said before, Togetic, complete set to... I saw Brad brought special attacking Salamence earlier in the season. I'm preparing for that. So I'm like, I brought Togekick to be max EP, and it would completely wall Salamence, max HP, max F, Eviolite. And I leave Weed Frog in. Essentially giving it away. And I set up Sun again. And then just throw Torkoal away. And I'm kind of speechless. I have thrown away 2 of my Pokemon. Lost my Sun. And I'm in a really bad position for a kill on Electrode. I have traded 2 of my better Pokemon for a kill. Especially because then... in comes Togetic on the Fake Out. Doesn't take a lot, but now I'm worried about triple Axle, which misses as I get a Thunder Wave off. And this is so huge. Especially because they then go for a triple Axle, which hits once. Not good. Hits twice. Doesn't hit the 3rd time, and I get a Morning Sun off. So I'm back at 79%. Very nice. Lopunny gets paralyzed. I Baton Pass out. Here comes Wake, and I know anything is dead, it swaps in. So... I believe I go for a Flamethrower predicting Decidueye safest, switch in, and Decidueye dies. Very nice. One issue, I'm choiced. Lopunny comes back in. I risk being paralyzed. Melvin comes in on the Fake Out. And Melvin actually does more damage to Lopunny than to me, but we take Toxic damage. I'm like, okay, let's Rapid Spin, although they're probably going to just set up a Fortress. So they're probably just going to go for Rocks again. The issue is nothing can reliably switch in here. In comes Lipard on the Fake Out, and I'm like, okay, Lipard's gonna go for Taunt. And then Fortress body presses, so I killing Lipard, which really sucks, especially because it's now back at full HP, whereas if I just went into Melvin or into Wake right away, I could have gotten a kill. I just go Hydro Stream because I know nothing lives here. But Fortress is now dead. I have to swap here into Togetic, who does, remember, wall this thing. Not well enough. However, we survive. Enough to get the Thunder Wave off on Mence. So thank God. They do set up Tailwind, though, and then we died to confusion. I try to go for Morning Sun there to heal back up. The issue is now something will die, and they know that. They know that they have a free switch, and at this point, I see it's game. Delphox can come in for free. It's going down to speed because of Tailwind. They're both dead. It's going to Terra Psychic, and it just will clean up here. So that's Melvin dead, and that's Wake dead. I'm so pissed at myself for this. I threw away Weed Frog and Torkoal so early for no reason, and we lost because of that. 2 matches where I made foolish blunders, and I have no one to blame but myself for the losses. Very, very frustrating. Next half, I have to win, I believe, at least 2 matches. Will probably secure me playoffs if I'm 3-5. Likelihood of being top 4, very, very unlikely. But I have to try. I face Lexington later this week. I've been practicing and just... I will admit, I was a little bit rusty. I've not been playing Pokemon that much since week 2. And I gotta get back into it. I gotta start playing a bit more. I have been. It's the only way I'm gonna win is if I practice. And yeah. I've got my work cut out for me. I'll be keeping you guys updated. But for now, that's gonna do this. I'll see you guys all in the week 5 VOD review. Bye.